Welcome to Josh's House of Nerd podcast.
Greetings, Nerd Nation. I'm Josh, and I welcome you to the podcast. Grab a cold evergreen goblet of blue milk and make yourself comfortable here at my House of Nerd. Tonight's House of Nerd is brought to you by the amazing Truffle Shuffle. Do you look down at your flabby belly and think to yourself, this thing is worthless? Well, think differently now with the Truffle Shuffle Belly Recognition System. All you need to do is lift your shirt and show your jiggling belly, and our recognition system will unlock that door or gate with ease. The Truffle Shuffle Belly Recognition System, where your jiggly belly is the key. Not a sponsor.
China probably already has that.
What, you think so?
I think China already has that.
A Goonies reference? Why would China have a Goonies-based recognition system?
Because of I guess the actor in there's Japanese. He's not Chinese, huh?
Yeah. Maybe to ferret out Western operatives by scanning their bellies.
That one came to me also traveling yesterday. All right, for today on the podcast, we have Crit and John, and we are still talking about the subject of the month, coming of age movies. And this week we are talking about Crit's pick, the 1994 movie Leon the Professional, or in the U.S., just The Professional, directed by Luc Besson, with actors Jean Reno, Natalie Portman, and Gary Oldman. Let's talk about this movie. What'd you guys think?
Well, I think you should be the one to open this up since you said you hadn't seen this film.
You're right,
before.
I hadn't.
Yeah, let's get your impressions
I've
first.
seen this film like 5 times now.
Okay. I really liked this movie. I really, really liked it. It was it's heartwarming in spots. It's this is one of the ones in recent time that I've written a lot, quite a few notes on. I loved how there was opening action. And I just love the relationship between, though creepy sometimes, between him and Natalie Portman.
Mostly on her.
Mostly.
Her side. His Jean Reno and his awkward faces he makes and stuff like that, I thought were great.
He is so stoic, man. He is just such a good actor. It's hard to come off being stoic like that. And boy, he is just so good at acting so well and yet just almost like deadpan half the time.
Yeah, I mean, he looked so uncomfortable when she was doing the Marilyn Monroe dance.
Oh, that whole scene is just gold, man. Great. That is just so funny.
Yeah.
I love the part where he comes out as he's like, I'm John Wayne. She's like, that's who I was gonna guess. I mean, and oh geez, that would have made me uncomfortable when she comes out dressed up and she's trying to get him to guess Madonna.
Yeah.
Oh, and well, Marilyn Monroe was just as bad, but Madonna was pretty bad. That made me uncomfortable. But it was just that whole relationship of him kind of taking her in. That was, I don't know, it was just it felt very uncomfortable almost the whole time. He was just so fighting against it the whole way. I guess that's one of the key parts of the movie, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
And stuff. So, I don't know. I felt like this movie was endearing. It kind of made me think of what would I do if my parents were killed in a drug fueled raid? I mean, we all think that, don't we?
I can honestly say I don't think I've ever wondered if my parents were going to die in a drug-fueled raid.
Well, now I feel like so awkward. Like I'm the only one that's thought that.
Yeah, well, that's okay. You're just one of 3. You're representing some portion of the nation.
Law of large numbers, right?
Yeah. I mean, when she walks up to the door and she's like, "Please open the door." Jesus, what the acting there is amazing.
I'm surprised on how good of an actor she was at such a young age.
I mean, think she's got to stare at the camera and do that,
Yeah.
Because it's an up close shot, and that was amazing.
She's crying, like straight up real crying, which I thought was unbelievable. Just kind of how she kind of kept her composure, yet like still was like super freaked out when she was trying to ask Leon for help. I mean, that was amazing.
And then Besson doing just opening the door, but all you see is just the light on her. You don't actually see the door open.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like the camera work in this movie is amazing.
Well, and this is Natalie Portman's first big film.
Yeah.
So she was an unknown at the time, really.
That blows me away. That absolutely blows me away. That not many people had known who she was.
No, she
was really young in this.
Yeah.
And yet to pull off such an excellent part. I mean, there's not many adult actors that could have pulled off as good of a part, I think, as she did.
Well, we get into our discussion we had when we were talking about Stand By Me with child actors, and it's kind of a mixed bag at the best of times, but you get a few standouts, Will Wheaton in Stand By Me, along with what's his name? River Phoenix.
Yeah.
And then, Natalie Portman here, and how much she knocks it out of the park. And I think you have to just completely stand back and in awe at how well these teenagers are able to perform.
Yeah.
I mean, I did drama in high school, and I can guarantee you I was nowhere near this good. I was nowhere near this convincing or anything like that. Because, I mean, the amount of practice and effort and just raw talent to go into that just has to be on a whole nother level, I think. And especially to pull off a movie like this.
Wait. I didn't know you were a drama kid.
I was. Yep.
Yeah.
I was a drama kid all through middle school and high school.
Well, hello from the orchestra nerd.
Yeah, I was also in band.
Hello
Band
from
is
the
not
other
jazz
band. Other band.
Band
nerd.
is not orchestra. Band is not freaking orchestra.
I was in jazz band.
I felt like that sounded a little weird, Grit.
No, it didn't. I'm fine.
There's no repressed.
I was in orchestra. It was like, oh yeah, I was in band. Yeah, you blew on a trumpet. That's not the same thing. Orchestra is actual. Requires finesse. No, I'm just kidding.
How dare you? Those are fighting words. I'll meet you back behind your house.
All the French horns.
With my trumpet.
I was a trombone player.
They're cool.
So
they're
great in jazz bands.
I was friends with those. They hung with my group.
We were the best.
Trumpets, tubas, and trombones. That was my group.
Trumpets were divas.
We still
are. Yep, very true.
They always are.
Anyways, back to the film.
Back to the movie.
I don't think we can talk about Natalie Portman's performance and praise her and praise Jean Reno without talking about Mr. Gary Oldman.
I want to talk about him so bad. I already love him anyway. In all the movies I've seen him in,
he is a national treasure.
Dude, he's amazing.
Absolutely.
I mean, even in the Dracula movie, that was his first one. I'm not a big fan of that overall movie, but he is awesome in it.
Yeah, but what about this movie?
And stuff. I don't know. What about this movie?
What'd you like about it?
Dude, he is nuts in this movie. And he pulls it off so good. He is such a chameleon anyway. Like any movie that he gets into, he is, I just noticed, I just had an epiphany that he's in this movie and he's also in Luc Besson's other movie, this Fifth Element.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. And yet the funny thing is he's, like I said, he's a chameleon. They feel so like two different people. And he is such a nutcase in this movie, a drug addicted, dirty cop. I mean, DEA. And yet you would have never known that in the beginning. He came off as a drug lord in the very beginning when he came in and was like, hitting up Natalie Portman's dad for the drugs. I just couldn't believe on how well he just came off as a nutbag,
Yeah, he had the perfect balance of like menacing, but at the same time intriguing. You're not quite sure what he was going to do next, but you knew it was going to be awful.
Yeah, exactly. You had this sense of, oh crap, this is chaos in a bottle, and
good
we're
way to
about
put
to
it.
open this bottle and see what happens.
And I think the writing really helped a lot because it took the bathroom scene, right? And he's got the gun on her, and the white dude with the dreads comes in, and in previous scenes, the white dude with the dreads is trying to act like Jamaican, and has an accent. And when Gary Oldman's character points the gun at him, he loses everything. He's a white guy standing in a sink with a gun on him. He's just like, okay, yeah, no problem.
That's
Like you
cool.
could just, I was just like, yep, that is great writing and acting. I mean, the acting was great, but I mean, just to illustrate, like, kind of that his entire team is at his mercy.
Yeah, just his effect on those around him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, his
And
craziness
to
like
write that in.
translated to the whole, like, man, they had like what, SWAT there? They had like the entire police force just to get Leon.
They brought everyone.
Get everyone.
You gotta commit if you're gonna quote the everyone line.
Oh, I wasn't committing. Sorry.
Okay, yeah, don't do it unless you're gonna commit, because it's enunciation every single syllable.
Yes,
It's crazy.
I mean, again, that
he
just
even
shows how
invented a
good of
couple
an
of syllables.
actor he is, and his just the way that he switched it up and just makes things his own. I mean,
I almost feel like that's what Redmayne was going for in Jupiter Rising.
okay.
Oh,
Jupiter
yeah.
Ascending.
It's or Ascending. Yeah, sorry, Ascending. I almost feel like he was like, okay, I'm supposed to be kind of crazy and powerful, so I'll channel. It's just a similar idea, this whole quiet thing and then exploding, but it doesn't come off near as good. Probably a little bit of the writing, because I don't think Redmayne's a bad actor,
I don't think he is
But-
either.
but it just didn't work like it works in this movie.
No,
And
to do it.
I think part of that is the reaction of the people around him.
Yeah.
Plays into that too. And Redmayne's character in Jupiter Ascending just didn't have that. Partially because half the time he wasn't really surrounded by lots of people, surrounded by like weird rat things and.
Well, the half the time though, he was also not enunciating, like you just
Yeah.
said. Oldman's
Yeah.
doing. His words were kind of slurred together in that movie, and you couldn't half the time, like it was whispered and kind of slurred together.
Yeah, it's like they exaggerated what they saw Gary Oldman do, but at the same
Yes.
time, like it's almost like in a weird way reasonable that Gary Oldman's character would just like yell, because it's obvious his frustration at the situation. Like he's already proven that he's that crazy, that he's unhinged. And there's a reason for him to yell, at his people. Whereas in, Redmayne's character in Jupiter Ascending, it doesn't feel like there's a reason. It feels like it's just acting like I'm an actor. I'm on screen. I'm doing a crazy thing. It doesn't feel like it's provoked in the way that Gary does feel like.
Yeah,
Like he's-
Redmayne's like whisper shouting.
Yeah.
That's about the best I could come up with, like, for that. It's such a weird performance, and yet I do think Eddie Redmayne is a very good actor. He's played
Yeah,
in some very good roles.
Yeah, it's got some. So yeah, Gary Oldman's the man. I mean, this whole movie, every time he's on screen, it's awesome. It's really great to watch.
I've seen almost all his movies. There's one I haven't seen yet, and I still want to see it. And it's the one where he plays. Is it FDR? No, he plays.
No, he's Winston Churchill.
Winston Churchill. That's right.
In Darkest Hour, and I think that's one of his best performances.
Really.
I absolutely do, just because of how different. You said it best. He's a chameleon, and
really
I think
is.
he plays to that in Darkest Hour. Like, he does a phenomenal job.
Well, I mean, you
just
think about it.
highlights how good he is.
I mean, you see him in a like crazy, just nutball cop here. Then you see him like in The Fifth Element, and then you see him playing, the vampire
Batman.
that he just melts into in Bram Stoker's Dracula. I didn't even know that was him for a long time. And then you see him in the Batman movies, like, yeah, just a completely different person. Just so good. I could talk all day about Oldman. I've been a big fan of his for years. I've been a big fan since, well, probably Fifth Element. Just at how amazing it is.
That's the movie, yeah.
Which is another Luc Besson movie, yeah.
So he did He did this one, Fifth Element, and City of a Thousand, no, Planet of a Thousand Cities or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Is he in that movie?
No, the director.
Oh, you're talking about Luc Besson. Yes.
Luc Besson,
Not
yeah.
Gary Oldman.
Not
I was
Gary
about to say
Oldman.
Gary Oldman's in Kung Fu Panda too.
Wait. Wasn't Gary Oldman one of the whales?
Oh, jeez. Maybe?
I wouldn't put it past him. No, I don't know.
Yeah, you're thinking.
No,
I'm
but
trying
he
to
was
think
in
of the
Kung Fu
movie,
Panda.
that name of that movie, but I've actually.
Yeah, but Besson didn't direct Kung Fu Panda.
No.
I know.
Okay.
I wonder how different that movie would have been if Besson had directed it.
It'd be a
More
bit different.
hitmen and drug-fueled cops and Kung Fu Panda.
Valerian
knows?
is what you were thinking of.
Valerian, yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah,
There's pieces and parts of that movie I like, and there's some parts I
it's-
hate.
It's Besson, you
A
know.
lot.
It's like when he's doing it seems like when he's doing a, set in a city, Leon the Professional style movie, it's great.
Mhm.
It's great. And the Fifth Element kind of blends that really well, but at
Agreed.
the same time, I think Valerian goes like almost too far.
Yeah.
Well, and then he did Lucy too, and Lucy was just
Yeah.
atrocious.
Yeah.
Lucy was horrendous.
Yeah. Anyway, hit and miss with the guy, but when he hits, man, it's great.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I mean, I wish he'd come out with more, because it seems, I mean, he's about 50-50 in my book. Like Lucy, I actually thought it was okay. It's definitely not in the really high on my list, but it's watchable. Barely. Scarlett Johansson does good in it anyway. But this movie, along with Oldman's acting, it's a great blend of just actors, and we haven't even talked about Jean Reno very much.
Oh my gosh, yeah. This is
How
I
is
think
he
this
not
is
in
my
more
first-
things?
Yeah, I think this is my first exposure to Jean Reno, which he'd done movies before then, obviously, and stuff like that. But like in the timeline of me watching movies,
Mm-hmm.
and I was just like, this is the coolest guy ever, because
Mm-hmm.
this movie is such a nice mix of violent action and heartfelt moments. Like how many other movies mix that so well? Because it's on the back of him and Portman. Without those two doing those two sets, especially the action set pieces with Jean Reno, and I believe that he's a mild-mannered person, but then also just a badass.
Yeah, it's almost like
Yeah.
he's got two identities.
Yeah,
That he can just whip out at any time.
well, that's the whole professional aspect of it. He turns into the professional.
Mm-hmm. And
I watched this after Ronin. Ronin was my first experience with Jean Reno. So I don't know if I got the same like feel of his character from that. For a while, because I was a kid when I watched these, I thought Leon the Professional was a sequel to Ronin.
Oh
Was set in
yeah,
the same universe.
really,
Because of Jean Reno.
that kinda
I thought it
makes
was
sense.
set in the same, universe and everything.
Man, then what did you think when you saw Mission Impossible?
He's
I
really
screwed
think
on
that one I caught.
Yeah.
Leon's
I
gotten
caught that
angrier.
Oh boy. But yeah, he was so good at Ronin. In all honesty, Mission Impossible was probably my first the first time I ever saw Jean Reno, and I think he was great, but I don't think he really stuck out to me, even though he's really good in Mission Impossible.
Well, he's a side character, at best. And
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he's introduced as part of the team. He's not introduced separately. So
And that's the way I've always took it. He didn't really stick out to me, but for
Yeah.
some reason in Ronin, though, Jean Reno really stuck out to me, even as Robert De Niro's friend. And
he's got a larger character surface in that movie.
Mhm.
Like he's not just part of the team; he's also the guy that's backing up De Niro and becomes De Niro's friend.
yeah,
Yep. Well, and he's the talking point to talk at the end about the woman, and
Mm-hmm.
so he's a very important, pivotal character, I think.
Mm-hmm.
and it just shows like
Absolutely.
his diversity too. I mean, he's definitely. I mean, he likes to play kind of hard edged characters. Don't get me wrong; that's kind of almost where he's been typecast. I feel like a little bit,
I'm not so sure about that. But
You don't
maybe.
think so? You don't think it's like the same character mostly through a lot of these movies?
No, because well, I guess if you've only seen these, definitely possible that you could think that's the case. These are the big American movies that he's been in.
Well,
But
I'd have to. That's the only ones I have seen him in.
yeah, he's been in a lot more than that. But yeah, I think because Leon was kind of a sleeper hit. I think that's the impression I got.
Definitely.
That he got a lot of casting in that afterwards. But he's played a lot of softer roles.
Really?
Yeah,
like in
a lot.
France, like in his motherland. Like, is he doing more or?
A little bit, it looks like. I don't,
Yeah.
he's. I don't know. He's in a lot of movies, man. He's in a lot of movies.
I wish I could see it. I need to see him in more because every time I have seen him, I've been very impressed by him.
Oh yeah, he's a great actor.
I almost wish they had. Okay, so let's go to the end part of it a little bit. Well, I really like how this movie. You guys already kind of pointed to it a little bit. How it's got action sequence and then and then there's like a big long kind of like mellow time when they're training and when he's teaching her and things like that. And then it goes into an action sequence again of them like him teaching her how to hit people and clean them up. And then that final kind of big action piece. And I'm going to be honest, I am upset that they killed him off. I hate it. I hate it that they did that. Like I love it. Like I was freaked out, and I hate movies like this. I hate it when the bad guy wins. And I can name some like the skeleton key or something like that.
Did the bad guy really win in this?
I mean, he got absolutely destroyed at the end.
Yes.
Yeah, he got demolished. And
I was thinking that the bad guy was Gary Oldman was going to get away with it,
And Portman's character goes back to life changed for potentially the better. I don't know if hitman training is necessarily for the better. But definitely different take on life. So I don't know that we can say the bad guy won here so much as
I don't think the bad guy won. And that's what I was thinking is I thought it was going to be that way. I thought it was going to be one of those movies that the bad guy was going to win. And then, with Oldman coming up behind him and, shot him. I mean, shot him. And then he actually did get his revenge on him, basically.
Sort of, yeah. First of all, I just want to say that one of the reasons I like Bassan, he's not like really 50-50 with me. I'll watch his movies regardless, even if they're, even if they don't come off that great, because he wants to do something interesting in the movie, like visually. Like he doesn't just want to, frame the camera, show what's happening, and then move to the next set piece. Like, you got the impression that he was shot, and he was obviously because we see the effects afterwards, but they don't show it. They just show a flash. It's silent. You don't even hear the gunshot. The camera falls forward from the perspective, and you just know, because the director's so good at this, or maybe the DP also, but at telling you the story in these shots in a way that exactly what's happening without actually seeing it, because you don't get to see the shoot. You don't get to see him shoot. You don't get to see him get hit. All you see is the doorway of the corridor that he's walking out of, a flash of light, and then the camera falling forward. And that's just cool. That's just art. It's like the when she's asking, to please open the door, a lesser director would have had a reverse shot of like her back and him opening the door and her walking in. Instead, she's looking straight in the camera and they shine a light on her like the door opening up. And you see her face. She has to act through that. She has to go from, trying to hold it together while also being scared to death and sad about totally upset about the situation, to relief. She has to act that in front of the camera, and then they shine a light on her to show the doors opening, right? Like, this is cool stuff. This is cool cinematography. This is the stuff that is interesting, that makes it interesting on the fourth and fifth watch. And it's the same thing with his death scene. It's like, fourth or fifth watch, it's just fun to watch what the director had to do what he chose to do above and beyond to tell the story, because he could have done it a lot easier.
Oh yeah, he could have. Yeah, done it completely different, and it would have been a whole lot easier on the actors. And
Yeah, and it had been a lesser movie.
Absolutely. Thinking back to that shot, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think it's an ephemeral feeling that Luc Besson creates throughout his film, and it's best highlighted by the scenes that you've pointed out. And it's that ephemeral sense that kind of sticks with you and, communicates more about the film than, like you said, just the shots would. So
Right.
I love it how they
Absolutely well done.
pull back the sound when that happens, and then you get that flash, and then the fall. You're right. It is. I mean, it was gut wrenching to me. Like it's translated directly through everything not being heard, just seen. I mean, you start to see his kind of like his vision starting to like dim. I mean,
Yeah, and he thinks he's, they show the shot of him walking kind of as a close up, towards the exit, and he thinks he's good. He thinks he's about to get away, and especially after that, really emotional speech that he gave her when he's pushing her down the hole in the wall, where he's like, "I want to do these things. I want to have roots. You've shown me this.
I want to
You know?
live.
Yeah.
I think that's maybe why it was so gut wrenching to me that he
Yeah.
actually died, because he in his mind he was walking towards the light on his way to almost a new life in a sense.
Mhm. Yep.
I mean, he'd been kind of in my opinion, dicked around by his
Been kind of
boss, and he hadn't had really lived his life, and now I felt like he saw the light. He finally saw a way that he could move on past his past.
Yeah. I think with Portman's character, the way they wrote it is he saw that there actually was more that he could have from life than what he was having. Like he was comfortable in his professionalism, in his, Spartan way of living, and, that type of thing. I guess as comfortable as you can be as a hitman who sleeps with one eye open and I guess snores.
And never takes any of his own money, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I'll get to Tony here in a second because I think it's a interestingly written character.
I agree.
But it was really a setup. He's the writer and directors are setting you up in the emotional aspects of their escape from the situation. And to have him not have it turn into a tragedy, have him not escape and stuff like that, they're doing that on purpose, right? They're setting you up, and then they're, so that you really feel it. A watered down script would have had him get away. He wouldn't have had any tragic aspects to it.
Mm-hmm. But then you think about, well, okay, what if they would have done that? I mean, would Natalie Portman's character have been the better for it? I mean, he would have been the better for it.
Maybe not. Who knows?
Yeah.
It's not the story they're trying to tell.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
It just kind of, those are the kind of thoughts that come up, in that, but but at the same time, even though he was killed, at least he came to a recognition of his life of the things that he needed to, something he wanted to be that's more than what he is.
Yeah, I think he had a real, like, Jean Reno seemed to act a real sense of peace at the end.
Mm-hmm. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I almost think that he maybe was hoping, or maybe the peace was that he was pretty sure that Natalie Portman's character had gotten away.
Yeah, if he gets Gary Oldman's character, then Portman's in the clear.
Yeah,
no one's going to go after her.
Which was why I say, no, it looked like the bad guy was going to win, but it didn't, because there was that sigh of relief of, he was going to die anyway because of Oldman, but at least he took Oldman with him.
Yeah.
And that Matilda is kind of, safe-ish.
Ish.
You never know about that Tony character that you were talking about.
Well, that's the thing about Tony. It's like, Tony's obviously fine with the situation. Like you could tell, especially when they had to talk about, reading and writing, and he's like, oh, I can I can read and write. And he's like, oh, it's like he's been keeping Leon illiterate because it helps keep everything in line. But at the same time, he's still honoring Leon's memory by supporting Matilda.
Yep.
And he obviously got his butt kicked to give up the information on Leon.
So I'm sure he feels guilty with that too.
I'm sure. So like it's weird.
I didn't key into that
He's
until you just said
manipulative.
that.
He's an underworld boss, and
Mhm.
everything else like that. He's definitely not a good person.
No.
But he does seem to at least have some loyalty.
I didn't realize. I guess now that you're saying that, I didn't realize he'd gotten his butt kicked. But now that you're saying that, oh yeah, he was pretty black and blue, wasn't he?
Yeah, that's how they found Leon.
Yeah, they didn't give him up easily and stuff. But I mean, I don't know. It was the whole situation was weird on how he kept him down, and he it's like he was his handler, but it was like he always was cautioning him to not change was bad type thing. He just said that a couple times if I remember right. Change isn't good, Leon. You know what happened with the girl? It's like he kept reinforcing the girl that he shot, that he was in love with, and stuff. But just to keep him in his spot. But
he said he got in trouble with a girl. I don't remember him saying anything about.
I thought he said he thought he shot somebody.
Did you watch the extended edition or did you watch the original?
I don't know.
Okay.
I ordered mine off Amazon, so I don't know either.
Yeah, there's an extended edition and there's the original edition. The original doesn't have anything about him shooting a girl.
Okay.
So you probably watched the extended.
Okay.
Which is fine. It does change the character a bit, I think, because he's more somewhat innocent in the original version. Because the trouble with the girl is not ever anything other than, you're never given any extra information about that. You don't know if it's actual, this is where he got his no women or children rule from. It could be all sorts of reasons, relationship troubles or something like that, or,
I might have watched the extended and didn't realize it. But
yeah, because that's
he does talk about like why he talks about that when he's at a dinner table with her. One of the final parts of when he's talking to Matilda about.
Yeah, I watched the original today, so that wasn't in there. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
But that's okay. I mean, it changed. Like I said, I think it changes his character a little bit, but not terribly a lot.
Yeah, you just felt like his life was, that Tony was just keeping his life, was he using him? Absolutely.
Yeah, of course.
Did he care about him? Sure. He did.
I think so. Yeah.
But he was still using him for his own.
To honor his wishes.
Yeah, well, kinda. $100 a month.
Yeah, I wrote that too. I was like, $100 a month is not enough.
Yeah, I wrote that.
not a great allowance.
Yeah.
Especially considering how much money Jean Reno probably had.
Yeah.
Well, did he though? Then that's what I was trying to get at. Did he really have that money? Was he really earning that money that he said he was doing? Or, was Tony saying he was and just stringing him along?
It's certainly possible, but at the same time, who knows? It wasn't really shown in the movie.
No, it was just such a weird relationship.
Yeah. I love how he's talking about how, don't go to banks because, at the very end when he's talking to Matilda, don't go to banks because no one knocks over Tony while he's sitting there bruised, beat up.
To beat up the head.
I'm like, did you forget the last 24 hours?
Except if you're Gary Oldman.
I'm pretty sure you're not giving me any interest.
Yeah. If you're the whole DEA,
what's your CD policy?
Oh, it's funny. Yeah, there's a few little funny parts like that. So my question is, excuse me, was she, Matilda, she answers the phone early on and she says she's dead. I was thinking it was a different, like a sister or something like that, but was it always originally her that was supposed to be at that school?
Yeah, the whole thing was that that was the school matriarch. I don't know, principal, something like that.
Whatever the principal is.
Yeah, and she was talking about how the father had already paid up through the end of the year for this, or through I guess the end of the year. Yeah,
That's
Yeah,
what she
to the end of
said.
the year
Yeah.
for like the
paid a
troubled
whole,
girls' school.
yeah, paid a whole semester for it, but she's got to show up, and that's why she's like faking,
That's why she's sitting in the halls when
yeah,
he walks in
Yep.
smoking and stuff like that. She's actually not going to school.
right.
Yep.
Oh.
So she's basically telling them, yeah, and that's
That's kind of interesting now. Then she goes back to that at the very end and tries to become part of that kind of thing again, like almost like looking for some
she's got nowhere else to go.
nowhere else to
Yeah,
go,
like,
maybe
where
some
else should we go?
normalcy.
I mean, Tony gave her $100 and kicked her out on the street. He's not a nice guy.
No, he's a jerk.
Straight up.
What a dick.
Absolutely.
Taking care of you. Yeah, right. Anyway.
I mean, she was ridiculous too. She's like, "I'll clean for you," and he's like, "What are you gonna do? A 12-year-old cleaner? That ain't happening." Get real.
She was ridiculous anyway. Just the whole her like coming on to Leon the entire time is just like, oh, what do you expect the guy to do?
Well, I think that's interesting writing. Yeah, her actions obviously are wrong in that sense, but at the same time, she's mimicking what she's seen her stepmother and her stepsister, I guess,
Yeah.
because she wasn't real sister or something like that, half sister,
Half-sister.
showed about how women interact with men, and obviously her father figure before then wasn't good. Slapping her around in the hallway, bloody, probably him that's bloodied her nose later.
Absolutely.
So she doesn't know how to interact with men, and she's got someone who's kind of like a father figure, but he's not a father, so she's got no idea what this situation is supposed to be like, which does lead to very awkward situations like we talked about, but also kind of hilarious situations where she's like, "I think I'm in love," and he's like, "Why?" She's telling her, her stomach, because he's like, "I'm glad your stomach doesn't hurt anymore." Like he's dealing with it as best he can.
Mhm.
And of course they get their spit takes, which are always funny.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, she has no good role model of how to navigate this situation, and so she's doing what she's seen other people who aren't great role models do previously.
Yeah,
She's
she
just
doesn't even know how
mimicking
to act like a daughter. I mean, with her. I
it.
mean,
Yeah, she doesn't. Yeah,
Well, and I think you can't mention the feelings, the whole love, the Madonna scene and the love scene, and that whole feeling without recognizing Luc Besson's difficulties in that area. If you haven't followed his career around that same time, he was accused of some very not great things towards a 15-year-old girl. So I think it goes without saying that some of it might have been projection from Besson too.
I didn't know that. That could be, that does color things a bit. It does bring up an interesting idea about whether or not the author's intentions mean anything to what you take from the movie. Because I've
Mhm.
always taken it as, she's trying to interpret, fatherly love, and she has no reference for it. Because that's obviously what, or at least when I watch the movie, that's what I get from Jean Reno's character is a fatherly love, not a romantic one. And she
Absolutely.
doesn't know what that is, right? She doesn't have a role model. She doesn't have anything to base that on. The closest thing she has to a familial love is like her 4-year-old brother, and that's just siblings. That's not, it's not the same thing. And so because of that, she's misinterpreting these feelings that she's never had before and labeling it with something that she's just seen all the role models around her, you know, talk about and portray, which is a romantic love, not a
Mhm.
fatherly love. And so therefore she's reacting to it incorrectly because she doesn't know any better. And
Yeah,
Leon,
I think that
Leon's character, and that's the way I read it. But if Bassan has a different view on I guess the age of consent, that that could change things if I let that change my interpretation. But I think that makes the movie a lot worse. So I think I'll just ignore his take on it.
And I think that's a valid point. I think the movie itself. Now, if Reno's character reacted differently, I might have a little different say. But because Reno's character reacted in the way he did, I think it maintained a realistic scenario, and that Reno's character handled it with class and dignity,
right?
And instead of taking advantage in a situation like that.
Yeah, he kept pushing her away in the sense of, yeah, that wouldn't be good. Yeah, that would. Even though he was letting her drink and stuff like that, that was a weird thing. But
She's
at the
just
same,
milk. What are you talking about?
the champagne part, right after she did her first kill. Is this an extended version thing again?
What?
I don't remember the champagne.
She doesn't
part.
kill anybody in the.
No, when
version.
she takes him to her first the first guy that they go to, and she paintballs him, and then right after that they go to the restaurant.
She doesn't have champagne
and stuff.
She's standing outside the door.
The version I saw, they were in a restaurant. She's pouring champagne into a glass, and they're both toasting each other on her first joint job.
Yeah, that's not in the regular version.
No way.
Yeah, it's got to be extended.
Yeah, that's definitely the extended version. And I must not have seen the extended version because I do not remember that.
And then
all.
she's in the restaurant, and then she's kind of drunk, and she starts going into like a giggling fit.
Okay, so don't watch that version. Watch the regular version, because the regular version is wholesome, and as much as that movie can be. Yeah, as the movie can be.
I was gonna say, that was the furthest they got. But even the whole time, what I was getting to is the whole time at that part, he was still like, she even in that scene like tries to she asks him to kiss him, and he's like, she crawls across the table, and she's like, just give me a kiss, and he's like, no, that's not appropriate.
Like the extended cut then. I don't even have to watch it. I don't like it. That totally changes, like the way he handles it in the non-extended version. It doesn't ever cross that line.
No, and he never does.
No, I know, but even with her, she never really crosses that line. The closest she comes is when she makes up the story with the clerk at the hotel.
Oh yeah,
that type of thing, and that
he's my lover. Yeah, and
yeah,
at the restaurant, she's like, "Yeah, give me a kiss," and he's like, "No." Everybody's watching us, and it's inappropriate. And he still holds it the whole time. The rest of the movie, everything you guys are talking about, he still holds it to like this almost. I mean, keeping her at arm's length, as she is trying to do like you were saying, trying to show her affection, but in the wrong way.
Right. I like I said, I really do feel like the way I read the characters are, he is discovering that he can be a dad, that there's something beyond his work and the current life that he's living. And she is discovering what love from a father would be like, but she doesn't know what that is. And so she responds with like, this must be romantic, because she's 12. She has no idea.
Well, and after that scene, that's basically what happens. That she starts doing the rest of, basically she starts turning more and more into, kind
of a daughter figure.
Daughter figure, yeah. And then at the very end, she's just like, when he's pushing her down the hole.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's like the moment. That's the moment that cements both characters and where they are in their relationships.
That basically is her father, and that's his daughter. Yep. And that's the way it all turns into it. And I think the way that he acted, like, even though she was acting in maybe an inappropriate way herself, he never acted inappropriately, which is
right
the way he should. And eventually she came around to the fact that, this guy loves her, but not in that way.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. She's learning what's appropriate and what isn't for this different type of love that she's not had before.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's a good thing. It just
shows a great thing.
Shows how the relationship can change and how, well, not only does it change her, but it changes, she, basically finds a father figure, but it also changes him into knowing that there's more, like we were saying before.
Right.
I mean, they both grow in so many different ways through just the short, what did they say, 4 months that they were like training. together. Yeah. And stuff. So that's a really cool thing. It's unbelievable. It was only 4 months that, they changed that way, that changed his life that much. But I mean, sometimes when you come across things like that, things can change your life very fast.
Sure.
And very dramatically. So awesome. Well, this was a good movie, guys. I think this was an excellent pick. I love it when you guys pick movies that I don't know. I've never seen before.
Yeah, it's fun. It was fun to revisit it, that's for sure.
Yep, absolutely loved rewatching it.
And I can't wait to see it again, actually. It was such a fun movie. With so many different, like we were saying, there's just so many different aspects to this movie. There's a little bit of everything for everybody there. So, do you guys want to go to the ratings?
Yeah.
Let's do it. All right. I'll rate it first since I'm the one that didn't see it. Hadn't seen it before. I'm going to give this 8 out of 10 glasses of milk. And I would absolutely buy this movie. And stuff. John, what'd you think?
I wouldn't watch this with my mom. It's not age appropriate.
Okay.
Yeah. I would tell my mom I love her after I watched it.
I love it. Right on, man. Right on. Crit, what'd you think, bud?
I'm going to give this 23 out of 27 cocaine pills.
Is that what he was eating?
A trip. Something like that.
Dude, when every time he would eat
Definitely
one of those,
a stimulant.
he was like, that was crazy good acting every time he'd eat one of those.
You know what it reminded me of?
What?
Alien Nation.
Oh.
The way he kind of, shuddered when the pills kicked in.
Yes. And that drug that they were licking or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's a good call, man. Good call. And shout out to Alien Nation once again. Have to watch that movie somewhere down the road. Oh, so good.
Well, it only if it follows our law of 3. If we mention it 3 times on the podcast, then we've summoned it and must watch it.
But then we'd have to watch Marlene.
So,
yeah.
No, we're kind of screwed on that one. We brought that up way too many times. We're going to have a special edition.
And there's a movie that I'm not going to say about a season that we'd have to watch too.
Halloween 3, season
of the Witch? Fine, Crit. I wasn't going to say it, so I didn't say the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. You said it anyway. All right.
Okay. So this week, this next month we're coming up on, it was my pick for the genre, and I picked the theme of historical war movies. And here is my 3 choices for us to pick for this next month. Okay. You guys ready?
Hit us.
Yep.
All right. Number 1. This movie's on point with the rest of the movies. The Untold Story.
Okay.
Number 2. War, British style. The Untold Story.
Okay.
3. The War of Coats and Pants. The Untold Story. And that's what I got. You need me to say them again?
No, I think I got them. They're all untold stories. I like the theming.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm okay with number 3, the pants one.
The pants is the intriguing one. I don't think I can guess any of these, so
Yeah,
I hit them good enough,
I'm
huh?
Blind.
I think so.
I'm going to tell you one thing straight up. I've never seen any of these movies.
Oh, okay. So you just kind of picked movies that looked interesting?
Ones I've wanted to see for a long time.
Okay, cool. Awesome. I like that. All right. So I guess we're picking number 3.
Okay.
You good with that?
Yep.
All right. Number 1. This movie is on point with the rest of the movies. American Sniper.
Okay.
Number 2. War, British style was Dunkirk.
Okay.
Number 3. The War of Coats and Pants is Glory.
Glory.
With Denzel Washington and Morgan Freeman.
Yeah.
Civil War.
That's old.
Yeah, I've
Old
seen
school.
that. Isn't that a long movie? Like a really, like a Dances
a
with
2-hour movie.
Wolves. Yeah.
No, it's 2 hours.
I think it's 2 hours. It has such amazing actors, but yeah, it's the war of coats and pants, man, and
Yeah.
stuff. The gray coats and the.
I haven't seen Dunkirk, so I'm kind of bummed we didn't pick that one. But
It's not the war of the great coats, of the what?
There was
gray coats.
Gray coats. What did I
Okay.
say?
I thought you were saying red coats.
No, I said gray coats.
I'm just like, this is not what.
I looked up the
Okay.
colors of the Civil War people to do this one.
you almost had us disparaging Idaho schools for a second.
No, or I could have said brown coats, which is Firefly.
Oh, jeez.
I was any one of these I would have been fine that you picked. I have never seen any of them, and I've always wanted to. So,
Ooh, man, American Sniper would have had some really cool conversations about what to bring that one back up again.
Yeah,
It's actually a
'cause
very polarizing movie.
it is a very polarizing movie, and I believe I'm on like the opposite spectrum of it. I do not like it, and don't like the whole. Yeah.
well,
Oof.
there's always your guys'.
That's interesting. I like the movie. I don't like the message. So that'll be an
Okay. Yeah,
center.
I'm in that same boat. I can enjoy the movie for a movie,
Yeah.
but I hate the message. I hate the book. I hate the stuff that went into the book. The lives that came afterwards. So yeah.
So that would have been a good topic. My goodness.
Yeah. All right.
I think Glory will be a good one too.
Yeah.
Yep. Civil War is always good.
I think this will be a good topic and stuff. So, because I was reading up on it a little bit, and its focuses are a little bit different in the Civil War. So,
Mhm.
and you'll see what I'm talking about when you watch the movie. So,
Oh, I've seen it.
Well,
you have?
we've both seen it.
Yeah.
You haven't. So yeah.
Oh, I didn't know you guys had seen it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I watched this in high school.
Oh, never seen it.
Yeah, I watched
Our
this.
lazy history professor made us watch it.
Well, I'm excited to watch it. So, and stuff.
I didn't
like
care. I
you had a
enjoyed the film. So
you had
it
a-
wasn't-
You had a professor in high school? Dang.
or
for you, man.
teacher,
Good for you.
whatever you want to call him.
Trust
Maybe that's
fund
why he
baby
hated his
over-
life so much. He was a professor stuck in high school.
Yeah, maybe. All right.
Oh, awesome. All right, guys. Thanks for the conversation. I appreciate it. And I can't wait for the next genre that we're watching. And to everybody out there listening, thank you for supporting our channel. And may you be excellent to each other and live long and prosper from all of us here at Josh's House of Nerd. Have a good night.
Thanks for watching. For more nerdy awesomeness, please like and subscribe and check out our other nerdy videos.